The light was not a blinding flash, but a gentle, all-encompassing embrace. It felt like stepping into liquid starlight, a current of warmth and ancient knowledge that flowed through me, not just around me. The oppressive weight of the old house, the dust of forgotten centuries, it all melted away, replaced by an impossible lightness. I wasn't falling or floating, I was simply present. As my eyes adjusted, the luminescence coalesced, and I found myself standing not in a room, but in a place that defied all geometry. I was on a vast, crystalline floor, so clear it was like walking on a frozen moment. Below my feet, nebulae swirled in majestic, silent ballets of creation and destruction. Galaxies, like scattered jewels on black velvet, pulsed with a slow, cosmic rhythm. I looked up, and the ceiling was the same inverted universe, a mirror to the one beneath me. I was suspended in the heart of the cosmos, a silent observer in a cathedral of stars. There were no walls, yet the space felt defined, contained. And it wasn't empty. All around me, shimmering threads of light, thinner than a spider's silk, crisscrossed the void. They pulsed with soft, colored light, some a gentle sapphire, others a vibrant emerald, a fiery ruby. I reached out, my fingers hesitating just before touching one. As I drew close, a whisper filled my mind, not in words, but in pure understanding. It was a memory, but not my own. I saw a world of towering, crystalline trees under a binary sun. I felt the joy of a creature with iridescent wings taking its first flight. I understood, with sudden, heart-wrenching clarity, the sorrow of a star dying a billion light-years away. Each thread was a story, a life. A moment of profound love, of devastating loss, of quiet discovery. They were the memories of the universe itself, woven into an infinite, intricate tapestry. And I realized with a jolt that the house wasn't a house at all. It was a library of souls, of moments, of cosmic history. A soft chime, like a single, perfect note from a crystal bell, drew my attention. In the center of this cosmic expanse, where countless threads converged, floated the heart. It was no longer the dull, mechanical contraption I had found in the basement. Here it was a sphere of pure, condensed light, more brilliant than a sun, yet gentle on the eyes. It beat with a steady, powerful rhythm that was no longer just a sound, but the very pulse of the space around me. It was the pulse I felt in my own chest. As I walked towards it, my own story began to unfold before me, not as a memory, but as a vibrant, living thread weaving itself into the grand tapestry. I saw my birth, not just on Earth, but my true genesis as a spark of consciousness. I saw lifetimes I had never known, on worlds I couldn't name. I was a cartographer of forgotten star charts on a desert planet, a healer in a city that floated on clouds, a musician who played melodies that could shape stone. In every life, I was drawn to places of deep memory, of quiet power. I was always a guardian, a keeper, a caretaker. My role, I understood now, was never just about sweeping floors or patching a roof. The previous caretakers, whose faces now appeared to me in shimmering portraits of light, they weren't just maintaining a building. They were archivists, sentinels. They were chosen to protect this nexus, this focal point where the stories of the universe were gathered, sorted, and preserved. The house, on Earth, was merely the anchor, the physical keyhole to this non-physical, infinite space. The heart pulsed brighter as I approached. It showed me why it had been failing. Over eons, some threads had become frayed, their stories lost to cosmic entropy, like forgotten words in a celestial book. Others had become tangled, discordant knots of pain and fear that resonated through the tapestry, causing static and disruption. The house's groans, the flickering lights, the cold spots, they weren't hauntings. They were symptoms. The library was in distress. A vision flooded my senses. I saw the true form of the house, not as a structure of wood and stone, but as a living, multi-dimensional organism. It was a cosmic tree, its roots anchored in the physical reality of my world, its branches stretching out into the infinite expanse of the library, each leaf a glowing memory. The heart was its core, pumping the lifeblood of story and experience through its very being. My purpose was not just to be a caretaker, but a gardener, a weaver. I stood before the heart now, close enough to feel its immense, loving energy wash over me. It wasn't a machine to be fixed, but a consciousness to be communed with. It spoke to me, its voice a symphony of all the voices in the library, a chorus of starlight and memory. It told me that I was chosen not for my skill with a hammer, but for the empathy in my soul. It had sensed my loneliness, my yearning for connection, and it knew I would understand the sanctity of these stories. I wasn't just guarding them, I was part of them. It showed me how to help. Reaching out, I tentatively touched one of the frayed, dimming threads. It depicted a world long gone, its inhabitants lost to a cataclysm. I felt a collective despair, a cold, empty ache. But instead of pulling away, I focused on a single memory within the strand, a child laughing as they chased a glowing beetle. I poured my own sense of wonder, my own memory of simple joy, into that thread. I didn't erase the sadness, but I balanced it, offering a counterpoint of light. The thread brightened, its soft glow strengthening, the memory of laughter now shining as brightly as the memory of loss. Next, I found a tangled knot of threads radiating a palpable aura of fear. It was a convergence of battlefields from 1,000 different worlds, a knot of conflict and rage. It was painful to touch, the psychic noise almost overwhelming. But the heart guided me. It showed me the single, common thread woven through all of them, the soldier's longing for home, the universal desire for peace. I focused on that, not on the violence, but on the quiet hope that lay beneath it. Slowly, painstakingly, the knot began to loosen. The threads didn't separate, but they realigned, the story changing from one of pure conflict to one of tragic struggle and the enduring hope for peace. This was my work. This was my true purpose. Mending the frayed edges of existence. Soothing the tangled knots of cosmic trauma. I was a librarian of eternity, a storyteller for the stars. The house wasn't my prison, it was my partner. The ticking of the grandfather clock wasn't counting down my days. It was the metronome of the universe, and I was learning to conduct the symphony. As I worked, I felt myself changing. The boundaries of my physical self began to blur. I was the man in the house, but I was also the child chasing the beetle, the soldier yearning for home, the star singing its swan song. My consciousness expanded, weaving itself into the tapestry I was mending. I was becoming part of the library, not just its keeper. The heart showed me one final vision. It showed me the future. I saw new threads appearing, vibrant and full of potential, the birth of new stars, the dawn of new civilizations, the first steps of a child on a world yet to be discovered. The library was not a static archive of the past. It was the living, breathing, growing entity. And my role was to ensure that it continued to grow, that every story, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, had a place. My physical body was still back in the basement, a hand resting on a brass and wood artifact. To an outside observer, I might have been standing there for mere seconds. But in here, in the heart of the cosmos, I had lived 1,000 lifetimes, and I had just begun my work. I was no longer Arthur Penhaligon, the lonely caretaker. I was a weaver of starlight, a keeper of cosmic memory. And I was finally, truly home. The old house would continue to stand, a quiet sentinel on a forgotten street. And within its walls, within its secret heart, I would spend eternity tending to the stories of everything, and I wouldn't be lonely ever again. Thank you for listening to this journey with me. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to follow for more tales from the worlds beyond our own.